Okay.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2, mic check. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2, mic check. Hey, how you doing? Mic check, mic check.
Zoom meeting વાળું છે ને પહેલું જે પેજ નીકળ્યું ને આ બે છે
You gotta say something now. Okay, so you gotta get your feedback.
Yeah, wait.
I don't know why. You may need to mute yours. You can put yours on mute. Mic check.
Should we sign in there?
Zoom, no, you don't. Mic check. Hello? Okay, no, I'm just talking. It's fine.
Like, I downloaded the application.
Don't use the application that you have. It's just installation that you already have. Oh, no. But it's not the one that you use. You have to go to online the calendar video and then use it on there. Otherwise, you cannot see all the features. You have to go online.
Good vacation, good holiday?
Just here.
Good here?
Yeah, just hanging out with our friends.
And then you can, okay,
How about
from
you?
that application.
Travel?
Yeah.
Online the calendar.
Mexico. I didn't go for it.
Here,
Oh, you told me.
Yeah.
call me or send me.
Didn't go for it though.
Thank you. You are very welcome.
Okay.
Very, very nice seeing you.
See you too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I didn't go far. All right. Let's get this thing started.
Thank you.
Already. We haven't started class yet. Okay. Welcome everyone. There's a lot of feedback in here. All right. Can anyone on Zoom hear me? Or how, whatever it is? Anybody good?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. All right, so welcome. All right, so Dr. K, I'll be the instructor for this class, right? Your HRM4152 Intro to HR Strategic Human Resource Management. All right, so hopefully you're in the right class. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Whatever other religious, ceremonies or things that you guys are celebrating. Happy to that too. Okay. All right. So before we start, any questions by anything at all? Books, anything? Everybody getting into the class okay? Yes? No?
Dr. Patrick, we need to buy the book.
No, the book should be ebook if I'm not mistaken. So if you can't find the book physically, go talk to Ricali, but it should be on the Moodle as an electronic book. Hey, Eric, come on in. So you should be good. All right. Okay. So I don't know everyone here. Still getting familiar. Come on in. Grab a seat. Don't know everyone here. So as a tradition, I like to have everyone do an intro in order for me to get to know you, in order for you guys to get to know each other, right? Because the most important part really about coming to school and being in university is about networking, right? About getting to know the people in your field and those that you're studying with, and maybe they can help you out a little bit when you get to know each other. Okay? So with that, we will start with this way and then we'll go that way. All right. So, sir, you have the floor. Just tell me what your name is, where you're from, what degree you're pursuing, and also what you plan on doing with your degree. If you know, if you don't know, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, so my name is Kumle. I can give you my first name.
Yeah, and you're talking to the whole class, not just me, everyone, just people on Zoom too.
I'm from Lagos,
Okay.
Nigeria. I'm here for MBA Strategic Leadership
Okay.
and Management in Global Business.
Okay.
I just recently retired as a banker for 28 years
Oh, good. Okay.
in Nigeria. So my plan is to go into personal entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I'm here to see how to acquire knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
to venture into that line,
Okay.
because I know the sentiments differ.
Mm-hmm.
When I was getting the salaries, to when I will be earning and paying salary,
Right.
it's a different ballgame entirely.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna do it here or back in Lagos?
Anyway,
Anywhere? You haven't decided yet?
sorry?
You haven't decided yet? It's right up
No,
here
I've
too.
decided.
Maybe.
I've decided. I just say anywhere.
Oh, anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
thank you.
That'll work. Thank you. All right.
Okay, my name is Nilufar. I'm originally from Iran, and before I've been in Vancouver and I was studying business management. So I came here to continue my education in MBA, and I would like to enhance my knowledge and skills in business. And maybe in the future, I have my own business.
Okay. All right.
I'm Nigerian, and I studied in Ghana for 4 years. I studied business administration, specialized in human resource management, and I am studying master's here for business administration and management. And my goal is to be in the leadership board of IBM someday. Yeah, it's nice to meet you guys, and I'd like to get to know everybody too.
Appreciate that. Eric?
Hello everyone, my name is Tag. I'm from Tunisia. I'm doing my MBA to get like a good degree, to get a good job. I studied like business administration back home. That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jugal. I'm from India.
You said Wilhelm?
Jugal.
Say that again?
Jugal. Jugal.
Jugal.
Yes.
All right, I'll get it right.
I completed my bachelor's and right now I'm here for MBA
Okay.
for the better career.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna go back to India, or you're gonna stay here, or?
No, I go back to India.
Okay. What part of India?
It's a Gujarat.
What part?
Gujarat.
Gujarat. I never heard of it. Okay. How far is that from?
Yeah.
Is that what's that close to?
Rajasthan, Maharashtra.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Julie.
My name is Utpal Prajapati.
Oh, you gotta say it again. What is it?
Utpal. UTPA.
Udpal.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All
My
right.
name is Utpal Prajapati.
Okay.
I'm from India.
Okay.
I recently completed my bachelor degree, BSc in chemistry.
Okay.
Since my childhood, I want to dream starting of my own business.
Okay.
I want to start something in the field of pharma.
Okay.
After completing the master degree, I will come back to my hometown.
Okay,
and
good.
Start my new business.
Nice. Okay. Good job. Oh, interesting.
Hello, my name is Imad Al Ahmad. I am from Jordan.
Okay.
And I have a bachelor degree in the science of finance from Jordan, a government university there. I have decided to study MBA to enhance my skills and to have a great job in the future, hopefully.
Good. Here or back in Jordan?
Not different, anyway.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Iyad Hijazan.
Yeah. Say that again.
Iyad, IYAD.
Okay.
Iyad Hijazan.
Okay.
I studied nutrition and food industries and bachelor degree.
Okay.
Like I'm nutritionist. I'm planning to get a master degree in business administration to make it combine with those degrees to open my own clinic.
Oh, nice. Okay. Interesting. Where you from?
Jordan
Oh, you Jordan?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. You gonna do that here or back home?
back
or-
back home.
Okay. Interesting. It's interesting. You first one I met with a nutrition degree. Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, the Zoom link.
Mhm.
If I can make it look like Lauren,
It's on the portal. You have to go, just go to the portal and click it. That's how they got on there. All right, let's go to the Zoom real quick. Let's start with Phoebe. Can you hear me?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, everybody pay attention, okay?
Oh, shit. Hi, everyone. My name is Phoebe. I already have classes with some of you, so you guys already know me. I am getting the MBA in leadership and management, and I hope that I can learn a lot through this class, and glad to work with you guys again. Thank you.
Okay. Utpal?
Yeah.
Oh, Utpal, you here? Oh, that's why it's doing that. Log off, Utpal. Log off that Zoom. Get off the Zoom. You're causing feedback. because you're on it, but you're here. So it's on the same frequency. No, come off.
You don't need it.
You don't need the Zoom. Come off the Zoom. Yeah, come off the Zoom. Yeah, sign up the Zoom. If you're in the class, don't sign into the Zoom. All you're gonna do is create feedback. So don't worry about it. I'm gonna post the video of the class on the portal, so you don't need to sign into Zoom because you're here.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Right. No, you're okay. Okay. All right. Ala?
Hello, hello everyone.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead and give us your background.
yes, my name is Ala Al-Abidi. I'm from Jordan. Well, I'm studying MBA because we have family businesses here. So,
Can you hear us?
you hear me?
What you getting your degree in?
Actually, I have a bachelor degree in nursing.
Okay, what you getting
But-
you the MBA?
No, actually, the MBA is for my family businesses.
It's for your what?
A family business.
Okay, what is it? Yeah.
Well,
what do you
yeah,
do?
actually, me and my father have a primary school here and a nursery.
Okay, interesting. Okay, good. All right, Tulik.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How you doing? Did I pronounce that correctly?
My name is Tulik Tarverdian, and I'm from Armenia. I I have 2 degrees, biology and chemistry, and also I have a master degree as a biology teacher. And 10 years, I worked as a deputy director of education and teach biology and chemistry. But now I want to change my major and study as a BA and marketing. And I hope everything will be fine and great.
It will be, don't worry, it's fine. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Laurent, you're up next. Laura, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Hi, my name is Lauren Sanchez. I'm from Colombia. I'm sorry, Professor, but I don't understand what we're doing. We're just presenting ourselves. I'm sorry, but I got connected a little bit late.
Okay. Degree, you're gonna do with your degree.
I have a bachelor's. My major is in business. Also, I did an associate in finance. I had the opportunity to study a certificate in accounting, and now I'm doing a master's, an MBA with emphasis in finance. I have experience working in banks in my country, and I would love to be able to work in finance field again in the United States.
All right, cool. I think that's it. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, a little bit harder on Zoom with the intros. All right. So for those of you that haven't had me before, like I said, my name is Dr. Patrick Hayes. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I was in the military for about 21 years. I retired in 2013. I have a bachelor's in business, master's in HR, PhD in organizational leadership, and then another master's in artificial intelligence. I'll be done this summer. Okay. Aside from that, I just travel a lot, go see different things. Don't do much else. We used to play basketball, don't do it anymore. For those of you that are worried about my youthful appearance, I'm old. Okay. Don't let the age, don't let the face fool you. What's that?
Can I guess?
No, you cannot guess. Come on in, sit down, come in. You cannot guess, Terry. Anybody that has not been in my class before can guess. Okay? If you guess properly, I'll give you 5 points on something. I don't know what yet, but if you guess my age, you get one try
You did
only.
not do that.
I did do that. Yes, no one got the points. You guys didn't figure it out, right? And of course, everyone on Zoom is open to everyone on Zoom except for Laura. She cannot do that. All right, because she knows the answer already, I think. All right, but before we do that, can you introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and the degree you're pursuing, and what you plan on doing with your degree if you know?
No.
No.
So my name is Jumana Tahbub. I'm from Jordan, pursuing my DBA.
Okay. You've been in my class before, but never physically, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, you've been in my, all right. Go ahead, finish.
that's it.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna do with your degree yet? No?
I didn't.
Okay, all right.
Didn't think about it. This is my like. This will be like the third class.
Okay.
so-
That's okay. All right, no worries.
Mhm.
Well, we don't have to know what we want to be when we grow up. It's okay. All right, so I'm gonna call you a day. Is that okay? Or is that not appropriate? That's not appropriate. What is appropriate shortened version of your name?
Kunle,
Kumli?
yes.
Kumli, okay.
Kunle, or you can call me Joseph.
That's better for me. Okay,
Yeah,
Joseph works. That way I don't chop your
That's
name
my
up.
middle name, so it's.
All right, that's my dad's middle name
Oh,
too,
that's
yeah, and my mother's maiden name, so,
Oh.
okay. So Joseph, you get a first chance to guess my age.
Maybe 45.
45. No, wrong. Don't count, don't count, don't count.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. According to your you retired or
Mhm.
from?
I'm retired,
already?
yes. So is Joseph.
Yeah, 32.
No.
No, retired 32.
Is that your guess?
No,
What's your guess?
I'm counting.
Okay, go ahead.
Like middle of 30, 35, 36.
You tried it, yeah, I like that.
You are, I think, 27.
You want to?
I walk younger.
What's your guess?
26.
How old?
26.
26? Oh, 36. Okay, no. What's your guess? Just guess. There's no right or wrong answer. Well, there's a right answer, but no matter what, before you leave, how old do you think I am?
How old?
Yeah.
45.
Okay,
50.
you can go. All right. Phoebe,
38.
go get out of here. Phoebe, go ahead. Take your guess. Oh, wait, you can't see my face. Okay, let me guess. So maybe I need to get an hour. Okay.
49 chứ, tại vì 22 rồi.
How old?
48?
Nope.
No?
Hewlett? What do you think?
I think if you teach 20 years and study 20 years, and we can plus 9 years, 49, I think.
49.
Or
She got it right.
Wow.
Good job. Good job.
yeah.
You get the 5 points by default because you don't have a chance. Okay? You get the 5 points,
Thank
right?
you.
Good job. You're the first one to guess that.
So I
Okay?
wouldn't have gotten it. I wanted to read you to 48.
Oh, yeah, you were close. You were close. You were close. All right. So I'm 49. All right. So I'll be 50 this year.
Oh, that's
All right. So I just like to tell everyone that because everyone thinks that they're older than me in the class. So they think they're smarter. What's that?
Oh, is your birthday soon? Are we throwing a party?
No, my birthday's in November. So yeah, he already had the party. We had the party. Sorry, baby. We already had the party. Matter of fact, we had class today on my birthday. I didn't tell anybody, you know. No, it's not important. That's what we're here for. We're not here to celebrate a party. I know. All right. I know we like the party, but that's not what we're here for. I know, hey, once in a while. All right. I just tell you that so you don't go around judging people by their appearances. Okay, not a good way to do business. All right, you don't necessarily know background about people. You can't tell what people are like just by looking at them. Okay, you can't make assumptions about people based on their physical appearance. All right, and we have a lot of that in the world, and we don't want to do that in the class. Okay, because you will embarrass yourself, upset people and you will never get anywhere because people won't necessarily believe you be incredible because you already formulated an opinion about them without really getting to know them. Okay, so it's good to just kind of get to know people, understand who they are, and understand that we all bring different life experiences to the table, right? Everyone here has a valuable and interesting story that I want to learn about, that I want to know, that's going to contribute to the class and going to help everybody along the line, right? We have chemists, we have, nutritionists, we got business people, we got finance, we got nurses, we got everything, right? It's a good mix of people, right? From different places in different countries. So that's always a good thing because you get to learn a lot more about things that you don't necessarily are familiar with and such important, so forth and so on, right? All right, so first couple rules for the class, all right? First thing is, turn your work in, okay? I can't help you if you don't turn your work in, all right? And people that have been in my class before can testify, you turn your work in, I will work with you. If you communicate with me, I will work with you, okay? I understand people have lives, things go on, right? But if you don't tell me what's going on, you don't talk to me, there's nothing I can do to help you, okay? I'm not gonna give you a grade if you haven't earned it, all right? So I'm very objective, I'm not subjective. If we don't get along, if we have a disagreement or something like that, I don't take that and put it into your grade, okay? I'm here to help you guys learn and to move forward and to get to the place and the things that you want, okay? And so in order to do that, you have to submit the work, right? You have to put the time in, all right? That's what it really boils down to, all right? But again, I understand there's life, things happen. You just need to communicate with me and we'll figure it out, all right? There's no problem that we can't solve, all right? But I need to know, all right? Second rule is, this is an open forum class, all right? And what I mean by that is that everyone's opinion counts, all right? Your thoughts, your ideas, all those things count and they have value. But don't get mad at another student or a colleague if they don't agree with you. It's okay to disagree, okay? That's another aspect of learning, all right? It's okay if we don't see eye to eye on everything, or we just don't agree on certain things, right? That's okay, all right? People are here to express their opinions. Tell me your thoughts, tell me what you're thinking, because we all have different experiences which contribute to how we see the world, all right? And so you can't really devalue that. You have to give it credit, all right? Your experience is just as important as my experience, okay? Even more so maybe because, you guys grew up in different countries during different times, civil war, unrest, social uprising in Africa's in general. So always, there's always something going on, okay? So everybody's experience is important, everybody's opinion is important, and sometimes we're not gonna see eye to eye, especially if we start talking about politics and religion and that kind of thing. We know everybody's not gonna agree, right? But it's okay, right? Be Allah, God, Jehovah, Yahweh, Buddha, whoever your God is, it doesn't matter, right? Shiva, I don't know, whoever, okay? Doesn't matter, all right? We're here to learn and to, kind of garner everybody's experiences and try to get as much as we can from each other so we leave here better than we came in, all right? All right, third rule is you're not gonna come to class, just text me, email. Where you going, Joanna? Wrong class, huh? Get out of here, I knew it. You look like trouble from the start.
I didn't know. How old are you? You're not that bad.
What?
How old are you?
49.
49.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Bye. Yeah, let me know, right? I don't need to know the reason why. Just let me know, hey, I'm not gonna make it to class or whatever the case may be. That's all. Email, text. Do not call me. I prefer you not call me unless it's an emergency, okay? And when I say emergency, I'm talking about like time sensitive emergency, all right? Or if you really need my help, like you're in a real emergency, something's going on and you can't find anybody else, you can call me, okay? I'll do my best to help you whatever way I can, all right? But you have to let me know I'm not gonna be here. It's professional courtesy, just because if you had a job, you would not just go to your job. You would tell your boss, hey, I'm not gonna come to work today, I don't feel good, or whatever the case may be, okay? Same thing, treat this like a job and you'll be just fine. Aside from that, I don't have any more rules. Try to keep your side talk conversations to a limit, okay? Keep it low, you know, because I have some talkers in here, some people I know that like to have conversations on the side, but we're not gonna say any names right now. But you know, got a black top on and a red top on and a gray top on, and you know, I'm not gonna say who they are though, okay? But they're still some of my favorite people. Okay. So the other thing is, let's see what else. Phone calls, take those outside, need to use the bathroom, just go. All right. Usually I go till about 7:30 or so. I don't go all the way till 8. It's just me. I don't like pushing a whole lot of information all at once. I just don't think after the first 50 minutes, I think everybody kind of, you guys are thinking about everything else except for class. So I don't intend to go too far unless we're, you know, we're going and things are doing okay and I see everybody's okay. But I understand it's a late class and people, you know, are doing other things during the day and be tired or whatever the case may be. So we will keep it probably 7:30 at the latest for the most part, maybe 7:45. Okay. There's a break in between. Normally I do a break at about 6:15 or so, give or take. So you guys can go out and kind of stretch your legs or whatever. Okay. What else? What else? I think that's it. Any questions for me? Zoom, any questions? Nothing? Everything's good? Good? All right, cool. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go over the syllabus, all right? Because I've been having some trouble with the syllabus as far as everyone making sure they know what's going on, all right? So I don't want any surprises, all right? So figure it out now. The one thing that I would say right now before, actually, you know what, let's just jump into it. All right, so week 1, it's pretty easy, all right? Week 1, all we have is the LE responses and the peer responses in the quiz, okay? That's it. If you go to the portal, all right, if you go to Moodle, you should be able to find everything you need on your portal, all right, before asking me, all right? Don't ask me without searching first and doing your own homework, right? So check it out, make sure you're good. You should be able to find any answer that you want, all right? So you got your LE and responses and that's it, right? Week 2, same thing, right? But week 2, trying to get you to focus on forming your groups for the case study, okay? So this is a good opportunity. You can start even now to start putting your groups together. So there's 1, 2, I think I have 24 people in the class. So my guidance for setting up the groups is no less than 4, no more than 5. Okay, so between 4 and 5 people in the group for your case study. Okay, and this is the only time you're gonna have a group assignment, I think, yeah, at one time. All right, so think about it now. Figure out who you want to be in your group. Reach out to your other, you know, students or your other classmates, and start to get your groups together. And don't let the, you know, the assignment sneak up on you because I'm not going to accept individual work. Right? If your work isn't part of a group, I'm not gonna take it. I'm just letting you know now, all right? So make sure you're on top of that, all right? The other thing is, if you are going to be late on any work that's due that week, all right? Say this is for this week 1 here, all you have is LE in the quiz. If you are not gonna do it, you have 1 week to complete it, okay? After that, you can't complete it anymore, all right? So 1 week. So week 1, if you don't get it done, and you have to have it complete by week 2. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody get understand what I'm trying to convey?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. Some people do, some don't. Right? So this week here, you got quizzes, you got LE, right? Let's just say you don't do it. You have till next week to turn it in. Okay, so you have 1 week to submit late work, right? With the point deduction. Okay, with point deduction. Not much, just a couple points. Now I don't go super hard. When you have 1 week, after that 1 week, I'm not accepting any more late work. Okay, it's just too much work for me. You guys don't, I guess maybe don't understand. It takes a lot of work for me to go behind the scenes, go to every course, unclick it. There's a lot of buttons I gotta click. I gotta click on yours. There's a lot of work that goes into it. This class is pretty big, all right? And I have other classes that I teach other places. So I don't have time to go back every couple of weeks to, you know, take your stuff in and change the dates. And you have 1 week, okay? From the week that the work is due, you have 1 week to turn it in late. If you don't turn it in, then that's it, right? Unless you talk to me and something, has occurred and we talk about it and we, set some other, conditions and some other circumstances, okay? But make sure you just turn your work in on time. All right, that would fix everything. Turn your work in on time, you'll be fine, all right? What are you laughing at, Laurent? All right. Week 3, again, start working on your group case study, title justification. When it comes to title justification, all I'm looking for is the title of your final project, your final paper, whatever topic it is related to HR, and 1 paragraph or something just describing why you chose the topic and what's the importance or relevance of the topic. That's it, okay? When you talk about title justification, I don't need anything else. And all this is on your syllabus, all right? So take a look at the syllabus when you get a chance. All right, group study, case study, final paper draft, all right? So week 6, you turn in your final paper draft. Again, this is just a draft. I'm not expecting a complete work. I'm not expecting it to be totally done, all right? Submit what you have. What I'm looking for is if you're on the right path, okay? If you're on the right trajectory, not to what I'm saying, but what you told me you were gonna write about, okay? If you say your topic is, nutrition in, school academic settings, that's what your paper should be on, nutrition in school academic settings, right? And I should see that, okay? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything more. So if you have 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, whatever it is, turn it in, all right? It's just a draft, all right? Don't freak out. If you see a 0 in your grades, don't worry about that, right? If you know that you still have time, right, to turn it in, and you haven't turned it in yet, it's just a placeholder. Okay, everybody knows what I mean by that? It's just an administrative placeholder. I just put it there so that I know that 1, either you didn't turn your work in, right? Or 2, I still need to grade it. All right, because at the end of the semester, I have to go in and put zeros in for everything that hasn't been submitted. So it's just easier for me to put the zeros in first, ahead of time, and then let it ride, all right? Because if you submit it, then I'll see it and I'll grade it and the grade will change, okay? So don't freak out about zeros for work that you know is supposed to be due and you still have time to submit it, okay? The LEs, make sure you go in, right, and do your initial post by 11:59 on Wednesdays, right? And then you respond to 2 classmates by Sunday, 11:59, okay? Don't plagiarize. Make sure if you want to get all the points, use citations, okay? Everybody understand how to cite? APA, somewhat, a little bit? Nobody, no idea, huh? Okay, we'll work on that, all right? First week or 2, I'll let you slide. We'll figure it out, okay? But this is something that you're gonna have to get really familiar with, because when you write academically, you have to cite. Okay, you just can't write what you want and just leave it like that, all right? You have to tell me where you got it from, who said it, where did you get this idea from, right? You have to give people credit for the work that you are reading, all right? And then now you're transcribing into your own words, right? You just can't say, hey, the sky is blue because I said so. It doesn't work that way, all right? So you have to cite. And as we go on, if you want, ask some of the other students that have been in my class before about how to do it. We had some growing pains, but everybody turned out pretty good at the end of the day and learned how to do it and did it pretty efficiently, right? So ask any 1 of the 3 students here between Neelofer and Vivian and Tarek. They were in my class before, so they have a good idea. And anybody else on Zoom, Laura, that can help you out, okay? What else? So like I said, for all the points for the LEs, make sure you cite, okay? Specifically, if you want to get all the points for your responses to your classmates, cite just 1 time, just cite something, okay? All right, and then in your main post, make sure you cite there too, all right? The other thing is make sure you proofread your work. I understand English is not everyone's first language, but that's no excuse for turning in bad writing, okay? No one's gonna care, all right? And you don't want that to be a reflection of your intelligence because that's what people look at it as, all right? I understand, we're in an academic setting and I'm trying to make sure that you don't send something in that people will read and go, this person's stupid. when it's not the case. You're not stupid. You're just like, English is not my first language, so I'm learning how to speak English and how to write English appropriately, right? So make sure, ask someone else that speaks or writes well, ask them to look it over. Hey, you check it out, and from time to time, not from time to time, when I'm grading your stuff, I would say, hey, this doesn't sound right. You need to reword this. And that's what I'm referring to. If I say that, or if I say, this needs to be grammatically corrected, or the format isn't right, you probably need to go back and look at it from a structural standpoint, from the English language perspective, not necessarily anything else, all right? I usually understand what you're trying to say. It's just what you're saying and the way you're saying it is not going to work, all right? So it takes practice, right? It takes time. I'm not going to take a whole bunch of points off for that either, okay? But I want you to get into the habit of trying to write well, because once you graduate here, when you go out to get a job, wherever you go, if you decide to stay in the United States, it's going to be a big problem for you, right? Because writing is extremely pivotal and one of them, of course, our main form of communication, right? So you have to learn how to communicate appropriately in the language of the nation you're in, right? I would never expect to go to any of your home countries and, try to write the language and you not tell me, hey, Dr. Cage, that's not right, right? I want you to tell me, that's not right. This is the way you write it, okay? This is the way you say it, all right? So look out for that. Let me see what else. And then week 8, we're gonna look at doing the paper, right? We got the presentation, right? So for the final project, it's a paper, it's a PowerPoint, and it's a video presentation, okay? The PowerPoint can be embedded into the video, okay? That's fine. I don't need to see the PowerPoint in a video. If you're doing a presentation, you present the video, present the presentation to me. I see it, okay, I see what it looks like. It's good to go, okay? The presentation doesn't need any more than maybe 5 to 10 minutes, all right? Keep the slides to the minimum, 6 to 8 slides maximum, okay? Just get to the point, all right? Even in your writing, which is another thing I want to emphasize, don't worry about the word count, okay? Don't worry about how many pages it is, all right? What you need to worry about is the content. Don't give me quantity, I want quality, all right? Don't give me, don't write just because you need to get to 10 pages. If you're writing and you're writing well, and you're writing, the right things and the facts and the research that you've done, and you get to 8 pages, that's what it is. It's 8 pages, okay? If the writing is sound, you make a good argument, you defend your position, the content is good, I'm gonna grade it just like I would if all the pages were there, okay? So don't stress about word count. Don't stress about page numbers, all right? Just follow your topic, research your topic, write down the facts, methodology, discussion, conclusion, recommendations, that kind of thing, okay? Just stick to that format, you'll be fine, all right? I don't want you worried about, oh, it's supposed to be 15 pages and you're trying to stay up all night trying to get the 15 pages. No, all right? Just write the paper, okay? Write the paper. And if it's too short, I'll let you know, hey, this is too short, all right? Because I've had that happen before, all right? Just be sufficient and be appropriate in your writing as far as like, okay, I think I've covered the topic well enough that he understand what I'm trying to say, okay? And then of course, there's the final, all right? So the final for this class, it's mostly multiple choice and only 2 essay questions, okay? That's it. The last couple of classes I have mostly essay questions and no multiple choice. I changed that up, more multiple choice and essays, okay? It's in the class, except for those on Zoom and online, of course. But you guys can take it with me in the class if you want, during the class time, all right? And it's open book, all right? So don't worry about it, okay? Just go back, review the PowerPoint, review the book, and you'll be fine. All right. What else? I think that's it. Any questions from me? No? No questions? Everybody's good? All right, move on. Okay. Good old HR. All right. Sorry, ladies or gentlemen, to put you in a different format here. There you go. Yeah. Okay. All right, so. All right, so HR, right? So what's HR about? Anybody want to just take a stab at it? When we talk about HR, what we talking about HR? What is human resource management about? Anybody?
It is how to manage the employees you have in the company.
Okay, I manage employees in a company. All right, that's good.
They are recruiting employee people and training and educate them.
Okay, definitely. Vivian?
Every human in a company has a certain talent or skill, so it's up to the human resource manager or the management of human resource to expand that skill or talent
Okay.
so that it comes out positively in the input and also the output of the organization.
Okay, yeah. All good. Anybody else? Anybody?
Well, just to say that the concept of human resource management, in my mind, came about because of the strong view that human resource is key to whatever an organization is trying to achieve.
Okay.
And because it's key, it's also it's also the resource that will manage the other lifeless resource, lifeless in quotes.
Okay.
So it's very important that we manage it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, good point. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? No? Okay, so HR definitely for, excuse me, for any organization, right? As Vivian had stated, it's a critical function for any company. Doesn't matter what size, doesn't matter, even in its class, I do HR, okay? And HR is really looking at, retaining, training, recruiting, compensation, right? Compliance, labor relations, okay? Talent management, right? This is what HR does, okay? Another important facet of HR is an advisor to the CEO, okay? Or whoever the boss is, all right? In trying to make sure that the boss and the staff adhere to the laws and regulations that are set forth in how we handle employment. Okay, how do we handle people, right? Because if you don't handle the folks that work for you correctly, you're gonna have problems. Okay, if you don't handle the talent properly, if you don't compensate them properly, if you don't characterize them and designate them in a proper manner, right? You're gonna have legal issues with the government. You're gonna have legal issues with the employees, all right? So for instance, if we look at, which we'll talk about later on down the line also, right? If we look at the difference between traditional and non-traditional employment, right? What we call non-traditional, we call kind of gig employees, right? Everybody familiar with the term gig employees and gig employment? No?
Is it the contract kind of employment?
Yeah, it's got some contract employment, right? Called the gig economy, all right? So the term comes from gigabyte, right? But
What
which
is spelling of the
gig, GIG,
oh, yeah.
yeah, GIG. But it's gigabyte, it's.
So is it different from outsourcing?
Yeah, it's a different outsourcing,
Different,
yeah.
okay.
Outsourcing is a different thing, right? When we talk about the gig economy, we're talking about the economy that is built off of technology, right? So think about some of the things that we have now that we didn't have even 5-10 years ago. Uber, right? We didn't have Uber, right? Uber is a contract type of employment, but it's based off of the technology, right? If it wasn't for technology in the app, we could never have Uber, right? We just have traditional taxi, right? Uber Eats even, Grubhub, all these particular employment avenues that we have now is all because of the phone and what we can do with the phone, right? So that's a different economy. And how we handle that is different because those people normally are not physically part of the company, okay? Uber has thousands and thousands of people that work for them all over the world. Okay, there's no way they can have it physically in one place. But to say that they're going to be employees of the company is another story, because now it's a different type of liability, right? It's a different type of cost, right? That's why they're contractors, right? They're entrepreneurs, right? Yes, Vivian.
Sorry, teleworkers.
Teleworkers teleworkers kind of work too, right? Teleworkers are a little different, but kind of the same thing, right? We have teleworking and remote work and that kind of thing. And mostly because of COVID, it's really been more prominent within as far as a resource or tool to use, right? But HR handles all this stuff in addition to some of the stuff that we see that's not as pretty, okay? Discrimination lawsuits, sexual assault, sexual harassment, right? Quid pro quo, those kind of things, right? Just for that, right? When you hear quid pro quo, we mean this for that. And there's problems in the workplace related to those issues, right? That we've seen in the news now, even such that even today, right? Everybody familiar with Theranos? Theranos, anybody on Zoom familiar with Theranos? No? Okay. Theranos, if you've been watching the news or today, they found the CEO of Theranos, the former CEO of Theranos, Elizabeth Holmes, they found her guilty 4 of 11 charges, right? Fraud, wire fraud, and that kind of thing, right?
I remember now.
Yeah, so Theranos was a company probably started up like 5-6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, right? And she was big time, right? They were promising new ways to analyze blood and that kind of thing, right? The company was a big deal. It was like $9 billion value. She was in magazines all over the place, right? Kind of find out that a lot of the science behind it, right, for the chemists and the techie folks in here, the science tech folks in here, the science didn't hold up. Okay, the science was not all there. All right, and so she ended up getting indicted on conspiracy charges and fraud and that kind of thing. And now they finally came back with the court proceedings, which she was in court 4 months. They were in court for 4 months. And they just came back today and they found her guilty 4 of 11 charges, right? So I say all that to say that ethics is a huge part of business, and ethics is a huge part of what HR does, right? Her HR should have been like, hey, we're not operations, but at the same time, some of the stuff's not working out. Some of the employees are saying that the science is not all there, or some of the employees are saying that they're not letting them talk, right? If a scientist or a worker says, hey, you know what, these numbers are funny, and he tells them, hey, be quiet, don't say anything, or you'll be fired, right? That's an HR issue, okay? That's retaliation. We don't want that, okay? And so if her HR, if she had listened to the HR, but she wasn't alone, then she had also her boyfriend at the time was actually the CEO and that kind of thing, running the company. But if she had listened to them, she might not be in this trouble, right? So HR serves as an advisor to the C-suite, right, the corporate suite, to let them know, like, hey, these are the rules that we have to abide by. You just can't do whatever you want, all right? And so HR has a unique role of being not only an advisor to the CEO and to the staff, but also being representative of the workers in the company. All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you relate HR to PR,
Public relations? Yeah, of course.
But
Go ahead.
If there's an HR in the company, would there be a need for PR?
Absolutely. Because HR and PR, they do different jobs, right? HR is more concerned about me taking care of all the workers in the spot, right? I'm not necessarily going to be on TV. I'm not going to be doing any, interviews. I'm not going to be doing any, promoting or anything like that, right? But public relations, that's their business, right? To be out there shaking hands. Oh, you heard that? Well, let me tell you the truth, okay? This is what's really going on, right? It's like the communication director for the president or anything like that, right? Public relations is about forming that bond with the community, okay? It kind of falls more into CSR, okay? Corporate social responsibility, right? That's kind of where public relations more or less falls, because I'm trying to form relationships with the outside community, right? With my consumer or other businesses or just other things, right? And also trying to control the information that's coming out of the companies, okay? Most companies, if you really don't research them too much, you don't hear too much about them, right? Disney, Apple, what do you know about them? Nothing. You know what they tell you, right? You know what the public relations people tell you, right? And so public relations is more of trying to get that, trying to make sure that the information that's disseminated is portrayed in a way that they want to portray, okay? So HR and PR kind of work together, right? If there's an HR issue that needs to be conveyed to the public, but HR is never gonna be in front of a camera or anything like that, or putting information out. It doesn't work that way. HR does work in a PR sense internally. Any information that needs to be conveyed to the workforce is done through HR, right? So let's just say there's some changes coming down. It'll come to HR. HR will convey that information to everyone because they have access to everybody's information and, you know, email and that kind of thing. And they're really the conduit for all the administrative things that go on within the company. So they will convey the information. So internally, they are PR. So that's a good point that Vivian bring it up, right? Internally, HR is the PR for the company, right? Another thing that HR does is training and development, okay? Which I think Vivian or somebody brought up also, right? Making sure that you, Joseph, that brought up training, I think for HR. Somebody said it, but it's an important aspect that goes overlooked a lot of times, right? Usually training is either in the operations cell or it's in the HR cell, okay? Depending on what the company, how the company's set up and aligned, they'll figure that on their own. But if it's in HR, I'm really trying to make sure I develop the particular employees in their particular skill sets, right? And why would I want to develop my employees? From an HR standpoint, why would I want to, you know, make sure that your skills are up to par and that you know the most current technology?
Because change is constant, number one.
Okay.
Then we keep evolving.
Okay.
And because of competition also.
Okay. Okay. Competition.
Yeah, because we need improvement in everything.
Okay.
At any time, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So improvement, change is constant, right? Competition, right? And all those things lead to an improved company. Okay. If you're getting better, you're getting better, you're getting better, you're getting better, everybody's getting better, guess what? As a whole, the company's getting better, right? Because now we each bring in developed skill sets to the table, right? That we can use to make the company achieve its goal in a more efficient and more productive manner, right? So training and development is an important aspect, right? Not only is it important for the company, it's important for you as an individual, because now let's just say you decide, oh, you know, like Joseph, 28 years in banking or finance.
Yeah,
So
finance banking.
yeah, so he's retired. He's like, you know, I want to do my own thing, right? He's taking his corporate knowledge and gonna go make his own money. Okay, so now you have new skills. You have all these tools that you can take to do better for yourself. Okay, because really, at the end of the day, everybody wants to work for themselves, right? I want to make my own money. I don't want to give you my money, right? When I want to take a vacation, I take a vacation, right? I don't have to ask anybody because I own my own thing, okay? But you can't do that really without the skill sets and the tools. But training and development helps you keep up with those things, right? And during class, we'll talk about some of the training and development failures that are resident within our, you know, our history, such as, you know, and these guys, you know, we talked about it before. You guys may not be familiar. Maybe Joseph's old enough, I don't know. Blockbuster. Anybody remember Blockbuster? No? I don't, did they have Blockbuster in Lagos? No? They didn't have Blockbuster, huh? Kmart, Sears.
No.
None.
It's just an international.
Yeah, they're multinational, but they've been not everywhere. They may not have been here. They may not have been in Africa too big, because I know Africa's a little different, and a lot of these countries, entry to the market is different.
Last the session, you were asking about Burger King, if we have Burger King.
Yes.
But at the time I came, we didn't have it.
Oh, you have one
Well, I
now?
just said- Yeah, we have it now.
Okay,
Like around, like last month or 2 months ago.
Oh, really?
We got introduced.
okay, all right, okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
What about mango?
No,
McDonald's, not yet.
No McDonald's yet,
no, we just have
interesting.
KFC.
That's
Most,
so-
most of the pizza companies, Pizza Hut, Domino's.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Do we have Pizza Hut now?
Yeah, even in Tunisia, we don't have like mango.
Don't have McDonald's, yeah, which makes sense.
Burger King is also coming to Lagos. I think
It's in Lagos.
Yeah, it's there, yeah. But a lot of these companies, because they haven't changed in the HR and a lot of the staffing didn't realize what was coming down the line, they've all disappeared, right? Or they've changed, right? And one perfect example that I use all the time, that of a company that was one thing and then saw what was coming for the future and changed, and all its departments were in synergy and were like, okay, we need to go direction, is Netflix. All right? Netflix used to be what before? Anybody remember what Netflix used to be? Redbox, that's right. Okay, Netflix used to be Redbox.
Because you said it before.
Yeah,
Like
well, I know,
know.
but that's okay. That's the whole point of learning, right? I said it before, you remember it. Dr. K said it. That's how I learned it. Somebody told me, I was like, okay, I remember now. And now I know what it is, right? I did a little more research and like, okay, now I know, right? Redbox is now Netflix. Okay, so you might see a few Redboxes once in a while on a random street next to a 7-Eleven. Okay, there's some in South Park. I don't know if you guys are familiar with South Park or not. It's an area down here in downtown San Diego. Well, not downtown San Diego, but it's around there. Yeah. There's a few red boxes around, right? And basically, you put your money in, you get your DVD, you take it home, you watch it, and then you bring the DVD back and you put it back in the machine. All right. Netflix decided, you know what? This is great, but things are changing. Digital content is coming. Right? We need to change our platform. Okay. With the change of platform, guess what comes? A change in personnel and change in skill sets. Because now my business model's changed. I no longer have kiosks or units that have videos in them. Now I have people that have to create digital content. Okay. And so they had to go through this massive transformation. Even when they built Netflix, right? Before Netflix, probably go ahead. Before Netflix got to the point where they are now, and you guys might remember this from the last class. Where did Netflix get its content from? Where did they buy their movies and all this other stuff from? Disney, right? Okay. Netflix used to buy all their stuff from Disney. Okay. And hence, right, they don't do that anymore. Why? Why don't they buy their content from Disney anymore?
Disney's a limitation on Disney caters to younger.
No, that's not it. That has something to do with Disney, but why do you think Disney stopped selling their content to Netflix?
Because now Disney has Disney Plus.
That's right.
They have their own business.
That's right. Disney got their own business, right? She remembered. No, I remember.
The person who answered the question last time, and I didn't remember.
No, not your fault, right, Laurent? Not your fault. Okay. So Disney, all right, decided, wait a minute, Netflix is making all this money from our stuff. We're a big company. We could do this, right? We just gotta get some different staff. We gotta get some people that create content, which we already have, right? Because Disney, of course, Disney got bazillion Disney movies and movies in general. And Disney does everything. They own all of Marvel, right? All the superheroes, okay? So they decided, we're gonna do this ourselves, right? And Netflix was like, uh-oh, we're in trouble, right? Because now we can't buy our content from Disney because Disney's gonna go and do Disney Plus, right? That's where Disney Plus came from, right? Because they saw that money Netflix was making. But Netflix is smart, right? They adapted. They went and got good digital content writers. They went and paid a lot of money for big names, right? They had some really big names, big superstars, make really good movies. They put it on Netflix and they kept their consumer base intact, okay? Netflix is a really good example of good leadership, right? And an adjustment in how they staff their company, Okay, how they brought in a certain amount of folks who has certain skills, put them in the right spots, right? Because that's what HR is about, is really about, right? Right job, right person, right place.
Best practice and best fit.
That's right. Best practice, best fit, right? Spoken like a true HR professional right there. Okay. So Netflix is doing well, right? They kept Disney in their corner. Disney's doing okay too, but that's because Disney has proprietary rights on a lot of material, right? That's the only reason Disney's still in the game. Okay. Aside from that, Netflix is killing them. Okay. Netflix is great content. Okay. So when you look at all that, you don't think about HR and what it takes to get to that, right? What did Disney and Netflix have to do to get all this infrastructure in, right? Because really it's about the people. It's not about the content. It's about the people that create the content, right? Do I have the right producers? Do I have the right graphic designers? Do I have people that know how to do AI? Do I have people that know how to, produce movies, right? I have to have the staff. Totally different from Redbox. Redbox is a machine. You put the money in, stand alone. You don't have to worry about it. All you go just collect your money from the Redbox, right? Collect your money, make sure the DVDs are current, and you're good. That's it, right? Totally different from running a huge company, right? So HR is all involved in all the aspects of business, right? And HR really manages its cues and takes its notes from the operations, right? What are we going to do? What we're trying to do in the future, right? Longevity, perpetual income, right? And with that, we want to make sure that we have the right people, right place, right job, okay? You know, say something?
Have you said HR advances from operations?
Oh, HR takes its cues from operations. So basically, HR is gonna only, and every department in the company is gonna do this, right? Operations is the center of any company. Okay, whatever it is that company does, that's the heartbeat of the company. Okay, so if Disney is in the business of making movies, right? HR is also in the business of making movies. What is HR doing to support that objective? Okay, what is marketing doing to support that objective? What is IT doing to support that objective? Okay, it may not be direct support, but it's supporting nonetheless. Okay, and so all cues are taken from operations because what we're trying to do is to make sure that our core competencies are supported so that we can make money, right? Don't forget, that's the main name of the game, right? Bottom line, make money, okay? There's no way, two ways about it, all right? So everything that happens is about making sure we support our main mission, right? Marketing, IT, HR, everything is about supporting the operation, our main goal, right? Our main line of business, our main line of revenue, right? So keep that in mind, right? HR takes its notes. So if Netflix at the time was saying, hey, we need to grow our staff, we need more digital content people, we need more engineers, we need more staff, more stuff, they go to HR, say, HR, you need to hire 10 engineers. And HR will go, okay, no problem, right? But there's one difference, there's one other thing that you have to consider when we're trying to build up a particular staff, right? So anybody, I'm sure you have, but what's the difference between manpower and HR?
Manpower, labor and intellectual. Human strength and intellectual.
Yeah, no, so kind of, sort of, but there's one key thing between HR and manpower. Did somebody want to say something? No? Wait, does anybody understand when I say manpower? Okay, so let me define manpower first. So manpower is really the assessment or the analysis that trying to understand what it's going to take for me to build the company up or build a certain skill set up. Okay, how much manpower am I going to need, to do this particular job, right? So if you're trying to build a house, how many people do you need? How much manpower do I need? I need 10 people, all right? But what is the difference between manpower and HR?
Manpower planning.
Manpower planning, right? Okay.
Manpower about quantity.
Quantity, yes. Manpower is a word about quantity, okay?
Whereas HR about how to manage.
Okay, yes, right? HR is about just managing the people we have already.
Yeah.
Okay, manpower is about how many of each type do we need? Right, anticipating how many types do we need? I need 10 people. Great. 10 people of what? 2 engineers, 2 plumbers, 2 guys that are, computer guys. I need 1 guy who's an HR. Okay, that's what HR does, but HR does it with money. Okay, HR looks at the money side, right? How much is it going to cost me to get 2 engineers? Okay. Oh, it's going to cost me 100,000. I only have 60,000. Okay, guess what, HR? We need 2 engineers, 60,000. Hire them, figure it out. This is the budget. Okay, that's what. And then HR goes, okay, no problem. This is our budget. We'll figure it out. Okay, Vivian.
Can we say HR focuses on the cost of hiring labor?
Hiring what?
Labor. No.
No.
It's different.
Yeah. No, let me not say that's totally different, because it is true, because HR does look at, okay, how much can I offer someone in salary, but they get that from manpower. Manpower tells them, hey, you can give this person $85,000 to $100,000. Then HR decides based on the person's skill set where they fall, right? Experience, education, that kind of thing. And then they say, well, all right, the base salary is 85,000. I know manpower said I can give him 100,000 or her 100,000 based on the fact that they have a master's, 10 years experience, they have the certification. We're gonna give you 90. And then you come back and say, well, I got this too. Okay, we'll give you 92, all right? But I know my range, right? But that's for manpower, okay? Because manpower said, hey, this is how much we can give one person, right? Because they're managing the budget. They're managing the payroll, right? Because what's the most expensive thing for a company? Staff costs, right? Staffing. 70 to 80% of the revenue goes to staffing, goes to payroll, right? Paying the people in the company, right? So in order for me to be profitable, I have to manage that very well, right? I have to make sure that I don't have too much of something and not enough of another, right? So I have to be real meticulous, right? And that comes from my analysis of the jobs, right? Job analysis is another thing that HR does, right? So I have to look at the job, see what the job requirements are, and then figure out what exactly do I need? What kind of person do I need, right? Do I need somebody with a high school diploma and then some experience? Or do I need somebody with a bachelor's, lots of experience, a master's?
Without experience.
Right, PhD, what level of experience, right?
Sometimes you see friction between HR and the department requiring
people, right? Because
most times, if from my own experience, they tend to give up.
It's
because the guy who wants someone is going to account for it. So there's a limit most times in what the push from human resource, how best they can push to save cost.
Right, to save cost.
Because if the guy who needs someone has told you, it's my budget.
Right.
I've gotten it, it's been approved.
And I need this person.
And I need this person.
Right.
Even if he's not going to do anything, I need him.
Right.
I mean, you understand what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So there is always friction between when it comes to, but like the good point you made is that the idea to manage the entire budget, but sometimes you see that friction happens and they just give up. Or sometimes, that person goes straight to the CEO and gets an approval.
Depending on the project, right? So what Joseph's talking about is more of when you have certain projects that come up, right? The company has, 10 projects, and we have to decide which project we're going to do this year, okay? If that's the case. And we say we got to do 5 projects, and then the project we pick, we need to bring in some more skill sets or more resources in, right? And then we go and say, hey, I need this scientist. Well, how much is the scientist going to cost? Well, he costs about $250,000 a year. No, get somebody else, because now you're out of the budget of the project, right? So we can't afford him or her. Get somebody else, right? You can find somebody who's just as qualified, who knows what they're talking about, but cheaper, right? You just got to look. What we're talking about more is the institutional stuff, right? The stuff that is set in stone already, right? If you're starting a new company, and you need to know, okay, what is it that we do? And what is it who do I need to do it? All right, 2 engineers, 2 digital guys, 2 IT guys, 2 marketing guys, 2, HR guys, right? That's my staff, right?
Yeah.
Manpower is concerned about that because that is the money piece, all right? How much money is that in payroll? Oh, that's $1 million right there in payroll. Okay, no problem. Okay, good. We got that settled. All right, now what else do we need? All right, that's another $1 million here. Okay, and then they go to HR. HR, here, you got $200,000 to hire 4 engineers.
Deal with that.
Right, deal with it, right? HR may come back and say, okay, we'll go look, and come back next week and go, we're not getting anybody. We need to bump up the salary, right? And this is why you see changes sometimes, salary going up, salary going down, or you see ranges in salary, right? Oh, the job is gonna pay 85 to 100,000. You're like, that's a huge range, right? But again, depending on the person's, experience, right? PhD, bachelor's degree, 2 different things. Okay? Experience and no degree, something different. All right? And so different costs, right? For the company, right? And so the company is going to look at ways in which to manage the manpower, but then once you're inside, once you're hired, you belong to HR. Okay? So make sure you understand the distinction between manpower and HR and what happens and what goes on with that, okay? Most times, you're not gonna really deal with manpower unless you're in HR, or unless you are like the VP of or president of HR, and you're kind of dealing in that arena, you're not gonna really mess with manpower. Manpower is a different ballgame, and to me, there's staffing goals and different things that they talk about. And there's what we would call an ideal staff, right? If I had no limits on money, right? Me as a professor, what would I like to see? I like to see a magic board, I like to see nice chairs and tables. I like to see everybody with, new computers that are installed that automatically connect to the speakers. I want all this stuff, right? Dr. Vasquez, the president, is gonna look at me crazy. And she'd be like, okay, well, good luck with that. Okay? If ideally, that's what I would like. But you know what we're gonna give you? I'm gonna give you some chairs. I'm gonna give you some students. I'm gonna give you some tables made of wood. And then turn the speaker on and good luck. Got some lights. Okay, that's what we got. And I gotta work with it, right? So there's a difference between my ideal staff that I would like, or the ideal things I would like, ideal situation, to the situation that I can actually afford. Okay, so this is the contrast here with manpower and trying to figure out, what I would like and what I actually have. Okay, and this has to be a reality check in those 2 realms, right? Because HR is all about, this is what I would like, all right? Ideally, I would love this, just like Joseph was talking about. The manager has a project, I need 10 people, I need 10 engineers, they have to be all from Harvard, Princeton, I take a couple CMU people, great. Okay, you're not gonna get none of that. Okay, manpower says you get one guy, he's a high school guy, okay? And yeah, make the project happen. All right, so there's a difference. All right, any questions from the world of the Zoom? No? Okay. All right, so what I want to do now, let's take about 10 minutes. Come on back, and then we'll continue on, okay? Miss Laura, how's Colombia?
So hot and humid.
Hot and humid, huh? Okay, that's good.
I've heard that San Diego is super cold right now.
It's very cold. Okay, you're not missing anything. Not at all. Okay, you stay there. Okay, you stay in Colombia, nice and warm.
Oh, yes. I have 1 more week.
One more week, you come back, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be here. Don't you worry. Okay, we'll be waiting for you. Phoebe, where you at? Yeah.
Ông à, không thể nói gì.
Number one. Number one.
No, because of the yeah, that's what he said. Yes, I'll check. I'll check today. I'll get back to you. I was just saying you should get it done. Oh no, because we studied. Yeah, you do have this comfortable. Yeah. You did. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, thank you. Почему обреченные редакторы за законами государственными членами всех крайне
This guy looks like he's rich. People are rich for a reason, right? They're good at saving money. Let's see how much he's paying for his auto insurance. Hey, excuse me. How much do you pay for your auto insurance?
They'll come back.
As far back as 5,000 years.
We're back, Zoom. There you go. Okay, that's baby. Oh, that's good. All right. And Lawrence is somewhere. All right, she'll come back. All right.
Years ago, skilled and unskilled slaves and conscripts, soldiers, and many others needed managing. How to best manage people is therefore a very long-standing and difficult issue. The modern concern with managing workers comes from the Industrial Revolution. Industrialization causes a massive shift away from farming and small-scale household production, literally cottage industries, to industrial work and factories and other workplaces. Depending on where you live, this transition may have occurred 200 years ago or is occurring right now. But the changes and the implications for workers and managers are the same. It's important that we understand the profound nature of these changes. Industrialists displaced household as the controller of the production process. So individuals lost the autonomy and the discretion to decide when and how to work, how to structure their work tasks, when to do them, where they were going to work. And income also now becomes individually based rather than household based. Finally, women's unpaid caring work was rendered invisible as new norms equated valuable work to paid work done outside of the home. Now, early industrialists believed that they needed to impose strict discipline and closely monitor this workforce that wasn't used to working for someone else in a factory. And so the foreman and the supervisor really became king. This is a system that we now refer back to as the foreman's empire, where the supervisor had the unquestioned authority to hire, to fire, to discipline, to assign work hours, and to motivate workers. And how were workers motivated? Through strict monitoring and the drive system. Threats, cajoling, profanity even, pointing to the factory gate, pointing to all those unemployed workers willing to take their job if they weren't willing to do exactly what the foreman wanted. Now, after this, there's an effort to try to systematize management as the production process becomes more complicated and factories get larger and more complex. Now, this didn't all pertain to human resources, but part of it did. And perhaps the most famous example that still endures today is scientific management, or Taylorism, after my distant cousin Frederick Winslow Taylor, who was really at the forefront of this movement. Now, Taylorism, or scientific management, sought to find the one best way to do every job, break every job down into small, standardized, repetitive tasks that any unskilled worker could do. For example, Taylor spent 4 months figuring out that the optimal shovel size was 21 pounds. Not 20 pounds, not 22 pounds, but 21 pounds. And so therefore these jobs were broken down into small, standardized tasks that unskilled workers could do. And who was it that was determining how to break these jobs down? It wasn't workers, no, it was managers. They were seen as the ones who had all of the knowledge. What were workers? Workers were just cogs in a machine. They were just hands, farm hands, factory hands, deck hands. You know the phrase, all hands on deck. Now, around the same time, there was also an effort to apply psychological principles to managing workers. So this wasn't seen as only trying to get the technical conditions of work right, but also to get the human conditions right. Focus on appreciating that workers have different skills and levels of cognitive ability. Focus on the fact that job satisfaction, what we now call employee engagement, and other attitudes are important for how work gets done and how productive workers are. And also appreciate that group dynamics in the workplace are also an important factor. And this really is the key task of any manager today, not only to get the economic and technical conditions right, but also to get the human conditions right. Now, as we look back over this 5,000-year history of the evolution of human resource practices, it's important not to simply see this as an evolution of practices, but also to see this as an evolution of ideas. When slaves and conscripts were managed in very hierarchical, authoritarian ways, this was rooted in assumptions that the elites of the time were absolutely superior in every way to slaves and conscripts, and therefore they had the right, sometimes even the divine right, to manage the workers that they saw as inferior to them. Fast forward several thousand years ago, And the early Industrial Revolution, when workers were managed in very hierarchical, authoritarian ways, well, this was rooted in a set of assumptions which owners thought that they had particular qualities that gave them their place in society. They were industrialists, they were at the top of society because they were ambitious, they were thrifty, they were sober, and they saw workers as lacking these qualities and therefore needed to be managed in very strict, hierarchical, authoritarian ways. We add in Taylorism, a new set of assumptions come to the fore. Workers now are seen as motivated by money, and they're willing to work to get money, but they want to do it in the most efficient way. And who is going to determine the most efficient way? Managers, because it's assumed that managers know best. We add in psychological and sociological theorizing to the problem of how to best manage workers, and now we add in a new set of assumptions about workers, that not only are they motivated by money, but they have psychological differences, they have psychological needs, social relationships, also important. So we have this evolution not only of practices, but also ideas. And as you're managing people, keep track of your own assumptions that you're making when managing others. So there's a number of key learnings that we can pull out of this quick review of the history of human resource management. How to manage people is a very old challenge. If you're finding it tough, you're not alone. Working for somebody else on their schedule, using methods and tasks that somebody else has set for them is a very difficult thing for many people. It's not how most people have lived for most of human history. Remember this when managing others. Also, we can see quite clearly that people management strategies change over time, and ideas matter as much as practices. So remember this when you're thinking about your own practices and your own ideas. And think about our current strategies that you're using, being encouraged to use, used by others in your organization. Are they out of date? Not only in terms of the practices, but in terms of the assumptions and the ideas that lie behind them. And finally, it's clear you have choices. Be an innovator as a manager.
Okay, so real quick, short, right? Nothing too earth-shattering here, okay? The point is that try to give you some background on, how HR came to be, right? And some of the more important shifts in why, we do HR the way we do. Specifically, if you look at it, it's usually predicated on some shift in technology, okay? The Industrial Revolution is a shift in technology, all right? So when we look at, the history of HR, right? And specifically from, this point of view of the class, it's from an American point of view, okay? Because early on, we had international business, but that's what it was, international business, right? We don't call it that anymore, right? We call it global business. We call it, different things. Because globalization, right, has enabled us to be able to do business anytime, any place, really with anyone, right? Even someone who has something as simple as a cell phone, you can conduct business and do transactions with, right? And this is kind of the new thinking that we've had to adapt to in the past 5 to 10 years, right? If you look at some of the industries that have been affected by, a lack of really STEM, right? Science, technology, engineering, and math industries, right? A number of our doctors, scientists, real technical folks, they're not Americans, right? A lot of them are from the Middle East, Africa, China, other countries, right? And not Americans, right? Because we've kind of taken a back seat sort of to really educating our society in a way that is technical, right? We've gone to more convenience type things, right? In which, how can I make this process quick and short and painless and more convenient for folks, right? So we have a global perspective. But companies now are looking at how do I, take my talent that's from everywhere, right, and make it inclusive, okay? Make the diversity in the company, really something that people will be able to come into, feel welcome, feel, included, and understand their ideas, although their background and their culture may be different. Okay. And so this is really the big deal nowadays for HR, right? Globalization, how do I, tap into talent from other places, right? And you can do that because we have the technology to do it, right? We have virtual meetings, we have Zoom, we have all these different capabilities that enable us to, reach out and say, hey, China, we want you to come over here. Hey, whoever, you're in a different country, why don't you come to school over here, right? Why did you guys come to school in the United States and not stay in your home country? Why? I don't know. Maybe. Like this, I mean, these are all personal reasons, right? But at the end of the day, there has to be something that drove you here and not, because all the country your guys are coming from, they all have great universities, right? Good teachers, right? So why come here to the United States?
For example, in my country,
Mhm.
I think there is no, you cannot go, you don't have this chance and opportunity to go forward.
Okay.
And I cannot see any future over there.
Okay.
That's why I came here.
You came here, all right? So a lot of times that's what it is, all right? The education is there, but say that again?
More on practical knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's more opportunities after you're done. Right? After you finish, you look at it again, what chances do I have to get a job that I need, right? I know, in India, as far as I know, right? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Engineers all over the place.
Yeah.
So many engineers, right?
Yeah, so many.
Everybody's an engineer in India.
Yeah.
Okay. But are there that many jobs? How many engineer jobs are there in India? Not a lot, right? Because there's a lot of engineers, there's a lot of people, right? And so what happens? That abundance of talent that's in India, right? All those engineers, right? What have you experienced thus far living in the United States, or maybe abroad too, in how that particular aspect of India has affected you in what you do as far as being a consumer? Has it affected you? Or you're not sure? So for instance, you buy your computer, right? Something's wrong with your computer. You call the consumer hotline, the helpline, right? 7 out of 10 times, it's gonna be an Indian.
Yes.
Right? It's gonna be Indian. Do you think they're here? No, they're in India. Right, in India. Okay. So what I'm saying is that it doesn't look apparent as to how the HR in India is affecting you here or affecting your country, but it does. All right. See how you're connected. Okay. Because now I have a product that I'm using that I'm here in the United States, but I need help. I call and then I'm in India, right, with the expertise and those skill sets helping me with my problem here in the United States. Okay. This is how we tap into other talent in other places, right? And using the technology to help us do that, because we couldn't do that before, right? You can be in India and you can have remote control of someone's computer, right? Like, hey, I'm going to take control of your computer. Okay. They go and boom, they fixed it. You couldn't do that 15 years ago. You can be on the phone with them, but okay, well, follow my instructions. This is going to take a long time. Okay, we're going to be here a while. Okay. And so you see how globalization, right, and how you take different parts from different countries, right, and put them together, and how one country can be instrumental without you even knowing it, right, without you understanding that that country is part of your HR structure. Okay, because now, say that I have a company and I have a bunch of, HPs, that's the computer, and somebody says, hey, my computer went down. All right, well, call the hotline, call the helpline. They call India. right? They call it helpline, but they're speaking to someone in India, right? That's a contract that I have outsourced, okay,
Yeah.
to help me with my HR problem as far as, not my IT problem really, but it's gonna help my HR folks, right? It's gonna help my workforce, okay, to do their job, right? In addition to helping the folks in India and help them alleviate the surplus of engineers they have. Now I have something for you to do. Okay, so guess what? I'm gonna start a company. I'm gonna line it, and that's what I'm assuming that's how it is in India. I don't know. They have a company, and just like they have here in the United States, it's a call center, and they have a bunch of people sitting next to each other, and they all have computers and phones, and you're just taking calls. Right? That's all they're doing, taking calls, and that's your job. You go in and you talk to people all over the world, and you help them fix stuff, and then boom, you're on your way. But then you go home, right? But you're in India, all right? So this is a big thing in globalization, all right? How we take in different skill sets, we're moving them, right? And helping other industries in other countries without actually physically moving them, right? All done by technology. Again, could be considered part of the gig economy if you kind of look at it, because it's being facilitated by the technology. Was that?
I said technology.
Technology is right, all right? And so you could look at it in that in that particular fashion. But when we look at globalization and we look at, how HR is going to, behave in the future, we're really talking about the strategy, right? Or strategic planning. We're talking about strategy here, right? And we talk about strategy. What is strategy? What's the strategic plan? In your own words. I mean, you could read this, but what do you consider a strategy?
One way to run things.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely. What else?
Action points.
Action points. Okay. All right. What else? What would I consider if I was trying to create a strategy for something? Some strategy. Go ahead.
The budget, for example.
Budget, right? Perfect. Budget, all right? Resources.
Yes.
Okay. Timeline.
Timeline.
All right. Facilities. All right. Government regulation. Internal and external requirements and challenges. What's up, baby?
SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis.
I was raising the
Oh, no,
point.
okay. You said
Yeah, I mentioned SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis, right? When you talk about strategy, all those things go into your strategic plan, right? Companies sit down and they try to figure out long-term, what's our strategy? What's our approach, right? And what's the main driver of that, right? How do I determine that? How do I determine what the strategy is? Or what determines that, I should say? They just say what was your strategy? Or what's your strategy, I guess, for graduating?
With your goal, your assignments,
Your goals.
please.
Right? But no, your goals, right, is what I'm trying to get at, right? I couldn't phrase it right, but your goals, right? Your goals drive your strategy. Where do you want to be? What is it we're trying to get to, right? Once you figure out where you're trying to get to, then you kind of reverse engineer. Okay, what's it going to take for me to get there? All right, and that's the strategy, right? Strategy, though, can be short-term, can be long-term. Okay, so for HR, it's both. Right? We have short-term plans, we have long-term plans, right? Depending on who you're dealing with. When you're dealing with the CEO and the C-suite and, think about the company in the future, that's a long-term plan, okay? We're talking about at least 10, 15 years down the road, right? That's long-term, right? Short-term is more 5 years, right? 2 to 5 years, that's short-term planning, okay? That's short-term strategic planning. When we do strategic plan, we're really looking at the resources it's going to take for me to get to where I need to be, right? What skill sets am I going to need? How much money am I going to need? What facilities, but it's really predicated by the goals, right? Where I'm trying to get to, right? Any questions so far? Okay. All right. So some of the things that you look at, right? And we kind of looked at it already, right? Organizational mission, the goals. Okay. Now there's a difference between mission and goal, right? But goals are more near term, right? Kind of the subset of a mission, right? Yes, I have a mission. My mission is to, graduate. That's my mission, right? But within that, right, what are the goals in between there, right? Well, I gotta take this class. I gotta pass this class. I gotta make sure I find someplace to live. I gotta eat. I gotta need money. I need a computer. Those are all goals in between, right? Or tasks or whatever the case may be, all right? So you have all your mission. You have your SWOT analysis, as Vivian mentioned, right? So what does SWOT stand for?
Strength,
Weakness, opportunity, and threat.
Perfect. All right. What is a SWOT E? Anybody ever heard of a SWOT E? Did you say electrical SWOT? No, that doesn't count. No electrical SWOT. All right. So this is relatively new, right? Not too new, but past probably 5-10 years, right? A SWOT E. The SWOT E is basically SWOT, but looking at the external environment, okay? All right, what's going on the outside of the company, all right? That's an important aspect, right? Why would I care about the external environment for my company? Why would I care? What would it matter if I was doing my planning, trying to come up with a strategy? Why would I care about the external environment? What would it matter? So when I say external environment, I'm talking about anything that's outside the company, the organization is considered external, right? Why would I care about that?
Because this external environment will affect me one way or another.
One way or the other, right? Doesn't matter, right? But why do I care if it affects me or not?
Again?
Why do I care if it affects me?
Because, for example, it will affect the timeline.
Okay, all right, it'll affect the timeline. Okay, so one of the major reasons why people care about the E, right, the external challenges, is because we have to prepare for them.
Yeah, for instance, how I view it is for external, you have competition from the external part, sorry, and you also have the potential clients.
Okay,
in the external
right,
part, so-
exactly. You have to prepare for those things, right? But why do you have to prepare for them? What's unique about the external environment?
And it is unpredictable.
It's unpredictable, right? You can't control it, right? But you can plan for it, okay? You sit down and say, okay, what could possibly happen here, right? We have our players here. We have the competition, as Vivian mentioned. We have our consumers, right? We have the government regulations, right? We have societal norms, right? How is society acting, right? What's the behavior? What's the pop culture, right? All those things go into the analysis when you're talking about SWOT in the external environment. Huh? And now we have COVID, right? Another external environment that has totally changed everything, right? Something that we didn't plan for because it's not something that commonly happens, right? The last pandemic we had was in, I think, 1930 or something like that. We had a pandemic, 1930s, right? That's the last pandemic. So it's not something that happens all the time, right? So most companies aren't going to think about it because most times, most pandemics don't necessarily affect your business per se, right? But the external environment is something that is breathing, it's dynamic, and it's not controllable. It's unpredictable. Because of that, you have to do extra planning for it, right? A normal SWOT is done internally, right? We are assessing the internal factors within our company, the things we can control. And that's the major difference between a SWOT and a SWOT E, right? SWOT is looking at the external, a regular SWOT is looking internally, right? So anything I can control is good. I'm happy with, right? Anything I can't control, I have to plan for, right? Because you don't want to get in a position where, or a situation where something comes down the line and you go, well, we didn't have a plan for that. So you didn't think about that at all. No plan, right? No, okay? That's incompetent, okay? Almost, that's negligent, right? As the CEO and the staff and people that are leading the company, you have to be thinking 5, 10 years steps, 5, 10 years or many steps ahead of what's going. It's like playing chess. All right, anybody here play chess?
Yeah.
Chess, right? Chess, 2, 3 moves. Yeah, you're thinking about how I'm setting these people up. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry for disturb.
Yeah.
You said the normal SWOT analysis, it is concerned with the internal.
More
activity
internal,
or-
yeah.
Wait, is that okay, let me ask what I want to ask. So the threat in SWOT analysis, I don't understand how it can be internal.
Okay.
Yeah, because you said.
Yeah. Now I got you. Yeah. This is a good question. All right. So let's just say, for instance, as a company, a threat I can look at is, okay, running out of money. Do I have a fear of running out of money? Do I have a fear of maybe my product not necessarily being compliant? Right? Do I have a fear of maybe, and some of the things that you worry about in the SWOT and the SWOT-E sometimes kind of mix, right? So let's just say, let's stick to resources, right? And the lack of microchips and that kind of thing now, right? It's affecting a lot of businesses, right? Ford, some other companies, right? They don't have the raw materials that they need. That's the internal and an external threat. Because internally, I have to figure out how am I going to replace this particular piece of raw material that I need, right? But then externally, I have to think about why isn't there any, right? Why is there a shortage, right? Understanding the dynamic behind that and seeing what can I do to maybe help remedy that. But right now, my problem is I don't have any in-house, right? Because I may not have any microchips, but guess what? Apple has 1 billion of them, right? That's they're not worried about chips, right? So that's not an internal problem for them, right? Externally, though, it is a problem because eventually they're going to run out of them, right? So now I have to think about that. So that's one way to look at a threat, right? I can look at a threat as being the people that work for me, right? Is there an issue of having a certain type of person or a certain type of personality, organizational culture within my company, right? Let's just think about Wells Fargo. We talked about Wells Fargo before in the previous class. And everybody familiar with Wells Fargo and the whole issue they had a couple of years back with creating fake accounts and that kind of thing, right? Anybody familiar? Everybody? So Wells Fargo, 3 years ago, maybe, they got in trouble because people were coming to the bank and the bank associates were creating fake accounts for people. So if you walked in the bank, they'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna open an account. Okay, great. They open your account and they open 2, 3 other accounts for you, but they won't tell you. Okay? And that's because the pressure from the top was saying for every account you open, you get an extra $500 to the employees. Gee, I'm gonna open up 10, 15 accounts. Okay, you want to give me extra $500 or however much it was, I think it was 100, right? I'm gonna open up as many accounts I can every day, right? You want an account? Okay, good, no problem, I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna tell you about 1, but I'm gonna give you 3, right? Because the other 2, not really gonna hurt you, right? Nothing's happening, you're not putting your money in, no money out. What's it matter, right? But it does matter, okay? That's a threat, internal threat. Because now I have to worry about the culture. I don't know if that's if that's helping you understand a little bit more with the internal threat. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily always be internal, right? It can be external or it could be a hybrid. But when we look at the regular SWOT and we're talking about threats, we're normally concerned with the threats internally to the organization, right? And it could be a number of things. It could be facility related. It could be, like I said, the money aspect, capital, right? How to raise capital. It could even be to the point where we have 10 projects and we don't know which one to do because we're not really sure what the external environment is going to bring, right? So that's going to affect us internally on how we proceed with things, right? So there's different aspects on we consider the threat, right? But it all is very related to the company and what they do, okay? All right. So we have to establish goals and objectives as we talked about before, right? We have to kind of set up our milestones and the things that we want to accomplish, right? In order to meet our mission, right? If you don't have a plan, right? If you don't have goals and objective sets, you're going to go off and 50 different directions, right? Everybody's gonna go do their own thing, right? We have to have a codified, black and white, accessible plan, right? Even though people may not necessarily know what the plan is from a strategic level, if you ask 8 out of 10 employees, they don't know what the mission of the company is, right? Most people don't. Most employees don't. Most people sometimes don't even know what the company really does. Okay, they work for the company, but they don't know what the company does. They know they do IT. They know they do HR. But what does the company do? I don't know. You don't know what your company does? That kind of me. I just pick up the phone and troubleshoot computers. That's it, and they pay me. Okay, good to go, right? So understanding the goals and objectives are okay at a certain level, but once you get past a certain level, you have to understand the strategic plan, right? You have to understand the mission of the company, right? It's okay down here, but once you start moving up, which I know all you guys want to be, move up and be entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneur, what you have to know your mission, right? If you don't know your mission, you're going to be going in 50 different directions. Okay, so mission is important. All right. Formulate organizational strategies, functional strategies, implement, evaluate, and reassess, right? So this is strategic planning process, okay? We figure out what our problem is by analysis. We come up with some options in which to try to address those problems. We figure out what kind of resources we have, right, to address the problems. We implement the solution, and then we assess and evaluate, right? Because we always want to create a feedback loop, right? Any process you have, you always want a feedback loop because I want to know if it's working or not, okay? If I put a plan in 6 months, I'm going to come and say, hey, what do you guys think about it? Did we increase our productivity? Did we make more money? Is it not working? Do you think it's crap, right? Tell me, right? And that way we can go in and we can tweak it, right? We can fix it, right? Because strategically speaking, I want to do everything I can because I'm looking for longevity, right? I'm looking for the company to last forever, right? And then there's not many companies like that. The few that are around are pretty much closing right now, all right? Some of them, you guys aren't familiar with, like, and it's strange because here, growing up, Sears was a big thing, right? And Sears is like one of the oldest companies in the world. It's like 150 years old almost, right? But you guys never had Sears, right? And it's interesting that it wasn't multinational, but it's just here, right? All right. So as I said before, right, operations runs everything, right? Everybody takes their cues and their marching orders from operations, right? And that's really the organizational mission, okay? The organizational mission is always going to be housed in operations because the operations is the house of what we do, all right? This is where it lives, all right? So if you want to really know what's going to be happening in the next 5-10 years, go to operations and say, hey, you know what? What's going on? What's our plans? What do we plan on producing, right? What's the next iPhone 16 going to look like? Because that's what they're working on now, right? Everybody has iPhone, what? Oh, Android 13. What's the latest one? 13?
13 maybe. Yeah.
13? Okay, I don't know about Androids. I'm sure Samsung 9 or whatever. And I have an iPhone 7, so don't ask me. Okay. I'm not.
I don't use iPhone.
Yeah, I like iPhone. I just don't like buying new phone every time they tell me. Okay. But the point is that Apple is probably on iPhone 20. That's what they're working on. Now we're working on iPhone 14 or 15 and say, hey, you did that. Okay, we got that already. We're on iPhone 20, right? We're on Metaverse, right? And Mr. Zuckerberg, Facebook owner, right? He's thinking about Metaverse, virtual reality. See what I'm saying? This is strategic planning, right? And he's thinking about it now, although the technology is in there. What is he thinking about when he thinks about the Metaverse? And we'll close on that, okay? Mark Zuckerberg introduced the Metaverse. What do you think his main concern is for the Metaverse? Or one of his concerns?
How to make this happen reality.
How to make it happen, right? Yeah. Definitely. But dig a little deeper. What do you think he's concerned about?
How to find the appropriate team.
How to find the what? No,
The appropriate team.
exactly. That's it.
What?
The appropriate team.
Team,
How do I find the right people with the skill sets to do this thing for me? Okay, he's smart, but he doesn't know everything, right? There's only so much he knows, right? How do I find the people to make this virtual reality thing a reality for me? That's his main concern. That's it, right? Once he figures that out, everything else will fall into place. The money will come, facilities will come, everybody will be breaking his door down to come join the metaverse, right? But because he hasn't really figured out the people, the team yet, you know, it's really kind of like, okay, we see what you're talking about, but this is another 15, 20 years before this happens. Literally, what he's talking about, the metaverse. But you see how far out strategic planning is, right? He's talking about 20 years. In 20 years, I'm going to be old. I'm not going to care about the metaverse. Probably, okay? Maybe, I don't know, right? You guys may care about the metaverse, right? I don't know, maybe. Your kids, definitely. Your grandkids, for sure, right? They're the ones that are going to get the metaverse, not us, right? But the key is, where do I find the HR to do it? Okay, where do I start? You know where we know where you know where he's going to start, or where he has to start. Nobody has an idea. Where do I start? Where do I start when I don't have the requisite talent available for me? How do I? Where do I start to look for it? So he's trying to build a metaverse, right? He needs a certain set of skill sets, and he knows what those skill sets are. But he knows that they don't. He can't find them easily. Where would he start? Where's the best place to start to do that?
In his company,
Where?
in Facebook.
How's that? What are you talking? Say, elaborate on that.
Okay, so talking about certainty and uncertainty.
Mhm.
So within the Facebook setting, he already knows the team,
Okay.
knows their capabilities, their skill sets.
Okay.
There is something about taking them to the next where you want them to be.
Okay.
If he has the idea, he knows what he wants to achieve.
Okay.
You can develop.
Okay. Perfect. So Joseph is saying training and development, HR function. Okay, that's what HR does, right?
It may not be all of them.
It may not be all of them,
Identify.
but there's people in there that he can probably identify as being, okay, good candidates for moving on to the next level, right? Because this stuff is not easy, very difficult. Everybody's not capable of AI and computer stuff and that kind of thing, right? No big deal. But let's say he doesn't have anybody in the company. There's nobody in Facebook. What's he gonna do? Where does he go?
He's gonna
He's gonna outsource? Outsource to, no, Vivian, that's
steal
good.
people's,
Vivian, who's he gonna outsource to?
I don't know.
No, because Vivian's right. Vivian's right. He's gonna outsource, but it's where he's gonna outsource and how he outsources and that kind of thing. That's what I'm trying. Where's he gonna outsource?
But is he the first person doing this kind of thing?
No, this virtual reality, but on the scale he wants to do with that, yes. Because we have these different, they had the Oculus.
And yeah,
Virtual reality has been around for a while, but
I'm sorry, just the way football clubs buy players.
yeah.
He should buy someone from another company. I don't know.
No, okay, no, yeah, you can outsource, but when you don't have something, right? You can't find it. What do you do?
And asking others maybe.
You start asking others. Okay, yeah, that's true. What else? What do you do?
Changing the way I'm looking for it, maybe.
You said what?
Change the way I'm looking for this thing, I can't find it.
So, but where do you find it? What do you do? Nobody? No ideas at all? So he's gonna outsource it, right? But more than likely, what he's gonna have to do is he's gonna have to grow it himself, right? He's gonna have to build it himself.
Exactly.
Okay?
I was gonna say that.
He's got to build it himself. Not when I say build it himself, I'm talking about he's got to build the talent himself.
Okay.
Like train anybody that comes.
Yeah, as Joseph was saying, train, right? But sometimes you can't train, you don't have the people even within the organization to train, right?
Okay.
So where do you go from there?
So
Where do you go from there?
Would you think that as he made a Facebook out of like an university project, he would consider try to find talent, like young talent
There you go. Thank you.
on like universities, like
Okay.
like well-known universities. I don't know.
Exactly. You're on the right track. You create it, right? You create the talent, right? But university is one place, but you got to go lower than that. You have to start at the little kids, right? Now think about when you were growing up, except for you, Joseph. Okay, you and me. Okay, you and me. Okay, but everybody else here is 30 or so younger, or around that age, right? Am I wrong? Is everybody over 35? Yeah, you stay over there too. Okay. All right. So when I was growing up, right, and I told you guys this before, I had a payphone, right? I had a dime in my pocket, my phone book with all my numbers in it, a little pencil, and I keep it in my pocket all the time because I can remember all those numbers, right? When the cell phone came, it was like, oh my goodness, this thing is fantastic, right? But when I gave it to my parents, they don't like it. They don't know how to use it, okay? So the technology, right, that we have, right, always starts with the young people, okay? And we don't have that the knowledge base that he's looking for. We have it, but what he really is gonna have to do is he's gonna have to go down into elementary schools and middle school, right? And start to teach them the basics of this metaverse, right? So that become natural to them. If you look at any 3 to 5 year old, 6-year-old, like my nephew, I had a problem with my iPad. I couldn't figure it out. My nephew took the iPad, he pushed 3 buttons and it was fixed. He's 5. Okay, I'm almost 50. I got 4 degrees. He has nothing. Okay, he drools. How did he figure that out? All right, that's because he's used to it. He was raised with it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the mindset he had. It's not complicated to him at all. All right, but it's complicated to my parents. Okay, so he's gonna have to build that. Sometimes you have to build your own HR. You have to build your own talent, right? But you have to start at the bottom, right? Because you have to make it second nature to where that's all they know. Okay, I'm sure none of you, anybody's used a payphone before? Payphone. See, everybody's looking at me like payphone. Payphone. When's the last time anybody used a payphone?
Okay. Payphone is the one you go.
You see, look, Joseph asked me, what's a payphone?
We didn't have.
You see what I'm saying?
We don't have.
Yeah, you don't have that, right? But that used to be a regular thing. On every corner, there was a payphone when I was growing up.
Where you slot in.
Yeah, when you put the coin in and use it. Right? Before cell phones, okay? And my point is that sometimes you have to grow the HR in order to get to where you need to be, right? But it takes a long time to grow the talent, all right? Which is what Mark Zuckerberg is doing. He's planting the seed now, but he understands, okay, I need to grow the talent. So does Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates has an academy for kids because he understands that if I introduce him to him early, it won't be complicated because that's all they know, right? They teach them calculus when they're 6, right? Trigonometry, algebra when they're 6 and 7, right? It's really not hard. It's just that by the time we get introduced to it, we're kind of in our own state, in our own little mind, in our own little place, and we're scared of things, right? There's a reason why kids aren't never scared of anything. They do whatever they want, right? And as you get older, you're like, no, I'm not doing that. And when you were little, you would jump off the tree and then roll and kick, you do whatever. When you're older, you go, nah, I might break a leg. I don't want to do all that, right? So enough. All right, any questions? No? Okay, make sure you get your LE done on time. Ali, Allah, you have a question?
Yes, can I have a question about the LE?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it's
Hold
written
up, wait a
here-
minute. I can't hear. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, okay. It's written here that I have to post 300 to 400 words, right? Regarding the video. Regarding the video,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And two, it's written that offer at least 200 to 300 word comments, replies.
Yes.
I didn't get this.
You don't get it?
Yeah.
So basically, you have to go in and look at some of your classmates, what they wrote, and then make a comment on 2 of those comments.
Make comments for my colleagues, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
and,
you'll make your comment on the post, and then you'll go and read your colleagues' comments, your colleagues' posts, and you'll make comments on those posts. Just 2 of them, though.
Okay.
Just 2
And-
other colleagues.
Okay. And regarding the quiz, is it about this lecture?
Yes, the quiz is on chapters 1 and 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. It's due tonight.
Oh, please.
Tonight.
I was saying Wednesday.
So take the quiz before Friday.
Before Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
No, actually, no. Today's Monday. Oh, no, before Wednesday.
Before Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yes. So before Wednesday, yes.
Okay. What about the LE? So LE.
LE's due Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the replies?
Yeah.
The quiz?
Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
The quiz finished by Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, don't tell everybody that because you're supposed to finish it in class. Okay, so don't go around telling everybody that. And then the LE Wednesday for initial post, replies by Sunday. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
All right, so.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I know.